Greetings and welcome to smartwatchtics.com. This is going to be an unusual video. We're not really doing a review. I want to catch you up on a few things if you're trying to decide on buying an Android watch, and also give you some insight into the new tethering app that all the latest generation Android watches are using called GaoFit. It's a follow-up to the WiiWatch 2 app. And it's completely different. It's a bit more health focused, and it's security conscious in that it doesn't even let you create an account to upload any of your data beyond tethering Bluetooth to the watch. Let's actually start there. We're going to be looking at an Android 9 watch and an Android 10 watch and some of the subtle differences between them and a lot of the similarities. But beginning with the app is really important. Here's the Google Play Store, and I just hit install, and it's going to bring in and download this from Google. Now, I recommend you do that over using the QR code that you can access from the watch, scanning that QR code and then attempting to download from there. A lot safer, at least outside of China, if you're going to be installing this, do it through the Google Play Store. Here we are, first installation now. I hit open, and it's going to ask me to use my location. I'm going to say OK, and you're going to give it all these different permissions. Here's another one for taking photos and videos. Here's so you can store that stuff. Here's phone calls, managing calls, and it gives you Chinese, which I believe you just hit the right one, and you have to go into permissions and turn all that stuff on. Okay, so you know how to do that. Let's bail out of here and get back into the opening screen. This is where you are. There was no attempt to create an account. You have a store, which is where it's going to have the watch faces that you can download specific for the watch that you're tethered to. You don't have anything here because we aren't connected. And then About, which is basically where you can do all these good things. Now, one of them, important, is this Visit the Forum. This actually takes you to the full Android watch forum, and in there you'll find a blog about another recommended app to use for tethering. I don't want to get into that, but if after watching this you're sorely disappointed in what this app does and its limitations, there is an alternative. Not many, but there's an alternative, and it's covered in that blog. It's fullandroidwatch.org. You can get to it, or right from the app, go into the About, go into Visit the Forum. It'll link you over to the website. Okay, I want to come back here to Health and add a device. This is where we have to begin. It's looking to scan a QR code from one of these watches. So we're going to start with the Android 9, which happens to be the APP-LLP7. I'm going to go over here, swipe all the way down to Assistant. In Assistant, I'm going to say Connect Phone, and there's a QR code. They're unique to each one. If I bring up this one here, make sure that that's turned on, hit Connect. There you go. Well, this is actually the QR code to install the app, and we already have that installed, and now I hit the back button, and now it comes to the QR code. So you see there's a difference already, Android 9, Android 10, the implementation. If you wanted that first QR code to download it from the app, you can hit the question mark up here, and you can access it right there. And that gets you to that place that then gets you here. Here it's a back end to get into. Here you come in the front end. Either way, you're there. We're going to take this QR code and we are going to hover over it. And it's just as simple as that. Check mark says that it has found it and connected it on the watch. I'm going to go, the current application lacks permissions. If I hit settings, it'll go over. You can set up all those permissions. We're not going to do that. Just cancel out of it. The watch is now connected, showing about 50% power on it, and I can come back to the opening screen, and there we are. Now, when we have this tethered, any data that you've had that's health-oriented gets transferred over. You see it spinning up here? And the kind of data that I have on here, if you swipe down, is step count, distance traveled, calories burned. And then you have music player and weather if it's tethered and connected. And if I go over here, I have a few different biometrics that this one measures. This is the Android 9 watch that does heart rate, blood oxygen, last night's sleep time, and breath training. These are new features that have been added to some of the more modern Android watches you don't find in any of the older ones. So, in heart rate, here is my continuous heart rate read by the watch while I was wearing it, nothing while I had it off, and here we are in early afternoon. So this is today's data. Tap here. I can go back to yesterday's data, had it off during the night, and then put it back on again at midnight. Interesting stuff. You can have a heart rate limit reminder that's supposed to vibrate or buzz or something when you exceed that limit. I haven't yet, so I don't have any way of telling you how it works, but it's tied in here, and if you're Bluetooth connected, the data will be being transferred, as far as I understand, directly. If not, it'll be on the watch, and then when you connect it, like here, this was our first connection, all of this data was transferred from the watch. So you can use the watch independent of the app, and you can get a good summary overall of your heart rate. You have a range down at the bottom, and you can look at everything by week, month, and year. If you go to week, you'll see the daily average numbers show up and so forth. Okay? With me so far. Here's step count. This is pulled right from here on that first tab, and it shows you the time of day and the number of steps during that hour. That's pretty cool. You also have an overall distance and consumption measurement, and you can track that, of course, by day. Here's yesterday. So we're migrating into a fairly decent fitness app for heart rate and step count. Weight is something that you put in yourself, and after you set this up, it's on metric initially when you install the app, but you can go in and set it to imperial and be in pounds if you want to. All of that's available for you, and that's something you would manually input. Now we have two other entries, sleep and blood oxygen. I go into sleep. Here's last night's sleep time broken into awake, light, and deep. Of course, you have to wear this heavy thing to bed with you. And if you are in here and you go over to the sleep app and you open it, you'll see you've got your total time. Now, I had a very disturbing night last night and had it broken up into two pieces with about an hour in between. And so we're seeing a relatively abbreviated chart here, but it gives you an idea of the colors and how it's laid out. Awake time, light sleep, and deep sleep with a score of 55, which is really low for only about 3 hours of sleep. Interesting note, it did not catch the other half of the sleep. So I'm not sure if it got the first half or the last half. When did it say I went to bed? 23, 11, 27. I always have to switch to 12 hours. Sorry, guys. 11:27 to 2:30 in the morning. I went back to bed about 5 something or other. So it missed the entire second section, which is understandable with that big of a, quote, awake break in between. But it's not tracking the night as if it's a continuum from 7 in the evening till 7 in the morning or something, or 10 at night till the morning. But that's what you get. That's what it looks like here on the app. And then you get the breakdown and low, high estimations of your sleep and how many times you were awake. That's pretty good too. Blood oxygen, here we are, supposedly now with this watch, able to do a continuous once an hour blood oxygen reading. The last one was taken at this time. It's red diode technology. We mentioned all that in the review app. And I presume if I take a live measurement now and we refresh this, it'll give you the last reading of 99%. But it's still doing it until it vibrates, so it takes it a while to settle down. But here's all of last night from midnight forward. Even when I wasn't wearing the watch, which is interesting, there's some sort of a reading there. Here's the day before. So I'm a little unsure on how accurate this really is. Now it's down to 95. That's interesting. And I'm talking and I'm moving, and so, yeah, it probably is doing real readings there. It vibrated, and I think we'd have to update to get it to show this. I have slide down and do that, and it should update any of the information. And in swirling right there, We'll give it a second. And now back down into blood oxygen. Hello. No, didn't change. So this may be only recording the automatic hourly ones and not the individual ones. But you can take individual heart rate, individual blood oxygen on here. But this gives you the continuous reading of heart rate and blood oxygen. And that's it for the tabs that are here. As I mentioned before, store, you come in here. Now that it knows what watch it's connected to, it's going to bring in the possible faces that you could download. I've got the Andrew Davis created fabulous smartwatch ticks Vegas face on here. Absolutely love this. We played with this many years ago and it's still surviving. It's a beautiful thing about pixels in a watch face. They don't degrade over time. She doesn't get older over time either. But I could go in here and I could grab that fun little panda from the Olympics, download and apply. It says it's switching. No, we got to have the network connections. Let me set that up. So what I had to do is put this on the internet. It was Bluetooth connected, but not set up on the internet. You got to be connected to the internet from the watch. Here, it sends a command from the phone to the watch and tells the watch to go to the server and download the face directly to the watch. So you do need these paired when you're doing it this way. If you're doing it straight from the watch, you can press and hold on the watch face, slide over to the end where the plus sign is, access the server that way. But of course, you have to be on the internet for that as well. So any which way you look at it, this needs to be connected to Wi-Fi, or if you've got a SIM card with cell data and a good strong connection to the tower, you can download it that way as well. So here we are with the cute little panda, which is totally sold out everywhere, but you can get your very own on your watch. Nice. All right, that's the dials, and the last thing is the about, which is about them, meaning the company. It's the GaoFit 1.1.0 and so forth. Now, real important here, I want to show you that if I go into help and I go into connect with a watch, it gives you the basics of what you just saw about mobile phone precautions and settings and how you bind the device. And we saw that with the QR code, got them all matched. You usually don't get that pairing thing anymore. It just does it because it's got the QR code. Pair with the watch and you're done. This is the important part now. It's called device reset steps, and they're serious about this. This watch right now is bound to this app and using this procedure. But if I want to unbind the watch from the phone, I can do that, but if I follow the procedure here, it will also erase everything on the watch and restore it to factory, as if you're going to give it away or sell it, okay? That's not really described anywhere unless you dive deep into the help or you accidentally stumble into it. You go to the app, you go all the way to unbind. I'll show you that manually in a second. You execute that, and it'll actually, at that point, restore the watch to factory. You also need to clear it out of your phone, the binding, so you have to go into the settings on your phone and find the watch name here and click forget in Bluetooth in order to make sure you've completely separated it from any memory inside of the phone. Now, when that's done, everything will be cleared on your watch. And everything will be cleared on the phone. Because you can't set an account up on here, all of the days and days of data that you have in here that are wiped out will be gone. And you saw when we backed them up here, we had them on here, they're wiped out as well. So you literally lose everything if you disconnect from the phone this way by going to the phone, by doing here, do not disturb. I'm going to just cancel out of those. Normally you would turn all of those things on. Get out of notices, go back in here again. All right, all this stuff you got to go through the first time you set it up. Here's everything. We've talked about all of these settings in the review, but down here is the unbind. When you're up here, at this point, you can look here, and if you see those green circles, it means you're tethered. And if you hit that unbind at this point, it's going to completely erase the watch. You could try coming in here and turning off Bluetooth and then doing it, theoretically, that would disconnect the watch from the phone. But I tried that, and it's still connected. If you unbind, even though you turn Bluetooth off, it's going to erase the phone, or watch, and erase all the data from the phone. So the best way to do it, I'm going to leave Bluetooth on, is you're going to press and hold and shut down the watch. Now I want to do this and actually unbind so I can show you what happens over here. Pay attention to the cards that are here. An Android 9 watch, this one in particular, the APP LLP7, has blood oxygen, sleep, weight, step, and heart rate. In particular, it's got blood oxygen, right? I'm going to go in here. Now that I've turned this off, it says that it's not connected, which is great. I'm going to unbind, confirm, and it has had success in unbinding. And it's dropped back to just the basics, heart rate, step, and weight, because it doesn't have a device paired up with it. This is off, but now it's safe to turn it on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that while we switch over to here, add this device, the APP LLP4 Android 10, and there we go. It says connected here, APP LLP. There's a different power level, 4, and there's your connection. Notice the cards now. We have heart rate, step, and weight. We didn't get any additional cards on this one, and that's because on this Android 10, come back over here, slide back up again. In terms of the apps that we've got, after settings, you've got heart rate, and then it jumps to breath training. So we don't have sleep, and we don't have blood oxygen on the APP LLP4. We do have that on the 7, but this is an Android 9 watch, Android 10. Real clear? Great. Now things are totally different with Android 10 heart rate. I come in here, I don't have that continuous heart rate we saw before. I have individual measurements taken at the time of day that they were actually activated, which I did simply by going in here and taking one just recently. And here's your minimum, maximum, average, and it's showing you just a sequence of them and pushes them off the screen. So you're not getting continuous heart rate, but individual ones are looking like this. However, with this, we're in the same app, right? And we're connected to a different watch, but we're getting different screens. I come over here now, and I have a heart rate monitoring capability where I can say start monitoring here. It switches it automatically over, cover it with my finger. You do know that the heart rate readings will work on any part of your body because you have capillaries, which is what it's sending that diode light into, that run through your skin everywhere. So if you find a place of your skin that's kind of common, oh, that's way too low. Common universal color. We all have kind of the same color hands, the same color fleshy part here. I often recommend you put it right in here. It's a good location to get heart rate. You'll typically get a better overall reading no matter what your skin color is, unless you're using a specialized watch that has capability for adapting to skin color. And we've reviewed some of those as well. All right, I talked long enough for it to start regularly jumping up to where it should be. It's giving me readings in the 90s, from 43 to 94. Very interesting. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to stop monitoring this and switch back to where we were. And that monitoring you do from the app does not get recorded, only when you initiate it from the watch itself. But if you want to remotely monitor somebody, you can do it if it's the Android 10 version tethered to this GaoFit app. Now, step count, going to be a bar chart here showing you your daily step count. And I keep pushing and turning off and turning on, but I could just push that button and get back here. 2542, distance traveled, all that's working. This is showing you the day of the week. You notice I don't have day and month, I just have day of the week. So it's building this chart for today. That'll get moved over in a new one for the next day, but I don't have the hourly breakdown that we showed you earlier. Same app, same version of the same app, tethered to a different watch. So really, really interesting how GaoFit works. But the big thing, again, is if I go into the watch itself and I slide all the way down to unbind. And I'm doing that while it's tethered. Then it's going to completely wipe out. And I want to show you that at least once. Here I am. I'm going to tap unbind. I have data on here. Obviously, I have my own watch faces installed. There's some apps I can add to it. Whatever's on here, I say confirm. And it immediately unbinds. Notice this, it's saying the unbind device, you need to cancel APP-LLP for pairing and Bluetooth of the mobile phone, which you can do, but it's already sent the scorched earth command to the watch. It has sent a complete factory restore, and it's erasing, and everything now is going to be completely lost, and this will be as if it was just out of the box, brand spanking new. So big warning, if you're going to unbind from the app and you don't want to restore your watch, turn it off before you hit that unbind. I can cancel out of this, and I'm just back here ready to add another device. Just to show you, again, the issues we looked at heart rate and step count, I do want to rebind one more time because another question comes up. When we disconnect it, did it move all the data over here and erase it? That's this one booting up. Did it erase it from the watch and you've lost everything? Or is it still on the watch and I can bring it in again? So I'm going to connect a phone. I'm going to add the device one more time. Come up here, scan it. It picked it up right away. Got the check mark. Waiting on here. We're already back here. See if I push the bottom button. That takes us back and back to our watch face. It's still there. There we go. Okay, APP-LLP7, still twirling, which I think means it's still downloading data on the watch, which isn't much. It's heart rate, step count, blood oxygen, and last night's sleep time. With that said, I also had some exercise activity on these. While we're waiting for that to finalize, check this out. If I go over to my fitness, where I could select a variety of things, outdoor runs and walks and whatnot. Oh, they're gone. That's right. It got wiped out the first time I did this. If you had any records, they would show here. You could tap on them and you could see the data in the record. That does not get transferred to this app. All your individual workout records are lost. They don't get transferred now, they don't get transferred ever, and there's no way to transfer them through the app to Google Fit or Strava or Runtastic or any of the others. Big setback in my estimation. By the way, notice this is still rebooting and erasing. It does a deep erase of everything. It looks like it's boot looping, but it'll actually bail out of it eventually after it does it enough times. But you lose everything related to your fitness. So the only place you'll ever have your fitness records are inside the fitness app in that second tab and just the data that's there. I hope they improve this app and grant that capability to have the tracking. And you got GPS, right? You're doing, see, now it's back to English. You're doing GPS tracking on this for your cycling, bicycling, or running or walking, but the track, it's gone. You don't have it. You don't have access to it anywhere. It doesn't get transferred. And of course, you can't archive it either. So, with all that said, let's go in here. Look, we still have the data. That's great. There's today, there's yesterday, and you have this incremental stuff, whereas when this one's connected, it's in this kind of a tab, just showing you the weekly one and increasing daily as you go. We do have heart rate monitoring on this. I stand corrected. All right, that's good to know. I hadn't noticed it, but if I tap this, it said start monitoring, and it's still in fitness, but the diodes have turned on. So that's really cool. You can have the watch in whatever it is, off or in a watch face, whatever condition it's in. In the Android 9, it's now doing a live measurement within the app. So that's retained between the two versions. It's just the, there you go, finally. It's just the portrayal of the information on the daily basis that we couldn't see here. I didn't see that tab up there, did you? I don't think we could switch to this view. So that's there, and then Blood oxygen, again, oh, good. There, you see we're getting some higher data now as it's doing the different readings. But not good if it's getting that blood oxygen from reading the floor. A little bit of study needs to be done still on this. And overall step count, again, on the day, you're getting the hourly look at it. And when we're plugged into this one, we're getting this kind of a view. And that's odd because this is an Android 10 watch, folks. This is Android 7, Android 9. So it may be that not only do we have the 9 and the 10, but we have different firmware capabilities within those. It might not be strictly 9 and 10 dependent in what you're seeing here. So if you've watched this overview of the GaoFit tethering app for Android watches up to this point, you probably surmised it's a pretty bad app. And I would tend to agree with you. It's way, way less capable than the original WiiWatch or even WiiWatch 2 enhanced app that used to be used for tethering to the Android suite of smartwatches. This one adds a little bit better functionality in terms of health with blood oxygen and some better heart rate tracking and sleep time. But it takes away a lot of the capabilities that used to be there. With that said, is it a big deal? Well, it depends on what you're talking about. This was last updated in September 2021. We are in April 2022. It's not being worked on heavily, and all it does is the basic stuff on the health page. So, if you want to do tethering for any other reason, you're most likely still going to be able to do it in an Android smartwatch to your Android or iPhone using other apps for different purposes. And they're all out there. For example, Google has great connectivity if you want to do email back and forth and use the same email account from your phone to your laptop to your watch. Same thing with Facebook and all the social media apps. The nice thing is on Android watches you can install the app directly and you can use it without having to be tethered to your phone for that purpose. So look at it from a different point of view. Android watches are really good for running Android apps for connecting via cellular, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, GPS, you name it. It just doesn't do very well in the traditional sense like a health watch would in transferring copious amounts of fitness and health data over to an app for analysis. Get yourself a fitness or a health band or watch if that's important to you for $50 or less, and stick with your Android smartwatch for doing all those amazing functions that you can do with all kinds of third-party Android apps, right? And you have all kinds of watch faces as well that you can put on Android watches, both the stock kind and the ones that are being developed by third parties. Now, one last thing before I leave you. Since we did this, as I'm summarizing, there's been another change. If you remember, I mentioned you could, way early, you could come over to the About and you could visit the forum. And we talked about the fullandroidwatch.org forum on the internet that has all kinds of information, including firmware for Android watches. Well, visit the forum was where you would go, but I'm switched now to a browser. Look, it's no longer the fullandroidwatch.org. Now it's watch.whittier.com/mobile/forum view with a capital V. You can type that into your browser and see if you get anything. Right now, it's a dead link. I don't get anything at all. But that is what is now replacing the visit the forum. So I presume they're going to have a forum eventually. And I'm not sure what's going on with the Full Android Watch forum. So it's a work in progress right now. The app has not been updated, but yet the location has been changed. So that apparently is not dependent on an app update. It's something that can be done in the background, just like changing the faces in the stock watch face feeder server. So yeah, We have a lot further to go for the GaoFit watch to be a reasonable and effective device or access point for watch to phone connectivity, but you don't really need it if you think about what you're going to do with your Android smartwatch. I sure hope that helps. Just keep monitoring the updates if there are any to the app, and if we have any news for you, we'll put it in the show notes down below. And if you'd like to discuss this in the comments, feel free to do that, especially if you're not able to reach the forum anymore directly to have a discussion about the GaoFit app. Alrighty, gang, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.